The first one says Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. There's never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Why are Democrats so sensitive about the vice president and the border?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Conservative Core, where our goal is to shine a light on the ridiculousness of the left. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and drop a comment down below. It really helps the channel out, and I love hearing from you all. Alright, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about the press interactions with none other than Karine Jean-Pierre. If you've been following the news, you know that her behavior in these press briefings has been nothing short of frustrating. It seems like every day we're witnessing a masterclass in how not to answer questions. Now, let's put on the screen the clip of Karine Jean-Pierre getting smoked like a piece of brisket because they are just lying and making up stuff and they think we're stupid. So in this video, we're going to see her get destroyed by Peter Doocy. Then after that, I'm going to show every piece of evidence in the mainstream media, even on CNN, where they called Kamala Harris the border czar. Let's run the clip.
Democrats on Capitol Hill are being handed this card with talking points about the vice president and the border. Do you know who's handing this out?
I have no idea. You probably should ask her campaign.
So the first one says Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. There's never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Why are Democrats so sensitive about the vice president and the border?
Why are Republicans so sensitive about actually not owning up to them getting in the way of a border deal? Why? Why won't they own up to that? Why won't they own up to the last president told them not to move forward? It was a bipartisan deal on just right there, available to them, and they voted twice against it. Twice against it. Why are they so sensitive to moving forward and actually dealing on an issue that majority of Americans care about, is dealing with what's going on at the border?
Okay, before we go any further, let's address this ridiculousness. The sad thing is she really thought she said something here. It's unbelievable how much nonsense we're being fed. The real question is, why did this administration wait until the last year of a campaign season to address the border issue? This has been an issue for 3 years, and now since it is an election year, they want to try and act like they care about this issue and are trying to fix it. For the first year, you did nothing. The second year, still nothing. The third year, absolutely nothing. And now, suddenly, in an election year, you're trying to take action. It doesn't work that way. You can't just lie to us and expect us to buy it. Kamala Harris did nothing and she was in charge of it. Biden is signing an executive order? That should have been done on day one. Why wait until now, during the election season, to finally take action on the border? We know the answer to that one, though. If the border had been addressed earlier, it wouldn't be such a hot talking point now. Maybe if someone had tackled the root causes of migration sooner, we wouldn't be in this situation. It's almost laughable how, when the stakes are high, they pretend to be doing something. This is nothing but political theater, plain and simple. The sudden courage to act on the border issue right before the election? It's transparent and frankly insulting to we, the American people.
Do you think that the border would be less of a talking point now if there was less migration to the border, say if somebody had addressed root causes of migration sooner?
Wait, hold on a second. Did you not hear the beginning of I know there were a lot of toppers, but one of the toppers, I talked about what we're seeing at the border. It's down by 55%. Not because of Republicans in Congress and what they did. It's because of what this president and this vice president did. He moved forward and took actions to deal with what's going on at the border. Republicans continue to block getting resources to the Border Patrol agents. They continue to block actually dealing with an immigration system. So yes, we are going to debunk the false characterization of the vice president. She was not a border czar, and it's not just us. Independent fact checkers have said the same thing, that did not exist, and that is not true.
Alright, now it is just getting comical. We're about to come up with so many facts here. I want y'all to watch this part of the video very closely. And if you have family members or friends who are taking this junk and believe it, show them this video right here. Especially the part where they might think Kamala Harris wasn't ever the border czar and that Republicans are just making things up. Pay attention to which news outlets are spreading these claims and listen to what they're saying. They're lying to you. KJP is out here misleading everyone, and it's time to call these people out. Let's run the clip.
Quote unquote border czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People are going to have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
Shout out to Newsbusters for this amazing video. We all saw it right there. There really isn't much more to say about it. They're flat out liars, man. Kamala Harris was clearly deemed the border czar and everyone knows it. All they do is lie and fabricate stories. Now that they've been caught red-handed, suddenly they want to claim there was no such position as border czar. It's infuriating, especially with the border being one of the biggest issues this election cycle. The border crisis is a major talking point because it's been a disaster, and Kamala Harris failed to address it effectively. I mean, even Joe said it live.
I've asked her, the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border.
Now, they want to backtrack and rewrite history, like something out of a Hollywood movie. They're erasing the fact that she was ever in that position. For years, they never corrected it or changed their stance, and now that it's a political liability, they're pretending it never happened. I hope you're waking up to this manipulation. Send this video to your skeptical relatives and let them see the truth. And back when everyone knew Kamala was in charge, she was doing interviews about how badly she was handling the whole situation, and this was her response.
We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
And since the media is talking about the border and the amount of people who have entered our country, we will. Since Biden took office, there has been a dramatic increase in border crossings. According to recent statistics, Biden and Kamala Harris have allowed 16 million illegals to cross the border since they took office. I'll leave us with this, and we're going to make this really simple. If Kamala can't handle the border issues, how in the heck is Kamala going to handle the United States? Our safety, our economy, how is she going to handle anything? Well, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, and like this video for more conservative news daily. See you in the next one.